Oh my gosh, what's up everybody? This is going to be another training video right here, right now, all about scams and land deals because these are wildfire right now. Holy crap, they are everywhere. There's a couple of different points that I want to get into on these, so I just can't wait to share this information with you. The thing is I know that each and every one of you are going to get hit up by some scammer that says that they have a piece of land to sell. It's going to happen to you. It's happened to us several times. It probably happens to my mom like 2 or 3 times a week, which is just insane. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know how they find her, or maybe her number just got uploaded or something. Who knows? Anyway, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Very first thing though, the first key piece of any listing that you take, you've got to make sure that all the owners are on the listing agreement to list that piece of property. This is one of the things that people are getting caught up with on the land scam deals, is that one person will reach out and say, I've got this fabulous piece of property, and they might comp it to $1.5 million, and everybody gets super excited about the commission that's on $1.5 million deal. Right? I mean, I'm excited about that. I always want to get excited about commission. That's one of the reasons why we do this job. But one person will reach out and say, I've got this land to sell, and then boom, they go through making the listing agreement, they put it all together. The person might even give them some information for a potential seller's disclosure, but then they upload it straight to the MLS, and lo and behold, they didn't get all the signatures that they needed on that document for that piece of property. And most likely the person was a fraudulent person anyway, so they signed somebody else's name anyways. But if you have 3 people on title, then 3 people need to sign for that listing agreement. So really do your homework. The part of the homework that I want to talk about is right here. So with all of these land scammers out there, they won't tell you who is on the property. So if they call up and they're like, hey, this is so-and-so, I've got a piece of property to sell, I mean, you'll probably look it up on the tax records, and one of those names will be correct. So on this last one, I'm going to go through what I did just to show you on my text messages so that you can see what I did to try to either curb it. And maybe if they were a real person, maybe I lost a deal, but I just don't think that at all, just because I know that right now these land deals are on such an uptick that I'm sure these scammers are just hitting all of our phone numbers. Let's see, and they won't be able to give you any of the background information for all parties. So I asked how many people are on title, and the last one, and he said that it was his wife, and so I was like, okay, like at least you got something right, probably, because it was a man and a woman on there. It seemed like by reading their names, right? I'm just assuming some things. And then they also won't be able to meet you in person or get on a video call. So I'm going to read you literally my text messages because it just makes it so blatantly obvious that they aren't a real person, or they aren't a real person trying to sell property here, right? They might be a real person, but they're not a real person trying to sell property. All right. They also won't be able to produce any type of ID. And there is a process through the MLS, I believe, that's called like ID check or background check or something like that. I've never really used it, but here in the future, we may be more frequently using some type of product like that to gather people's backgrounds and make sure that they are who they say they are. And honestly, I mean, it is for the public good that we do our homework on each one of these properties to make sure that we know who we're actually listing a property for. But honestly, all the land scammers that I've had, I mean, they just are so weird and flaky that, I mean, it's red flags everywhere. Okay, now let's just go through my snapshots. I'm going to just show you what I did and the way I spoke to this latest scammer. So he had messaged me. I said, hi Dan, how are you doing? I received your message. What vacant lot would you like to sell? This is TJ with Fitness Realty. He said he tried calling but no response, of course, because it blocks on my phone when it says scam. I have a vacant lot in Utah, he says. Here's the address. Kindly send me a CMA report to my email. One thing, most average people don't know what a CMA is. So when somebody asks you straight up for a CMA, they're either a realtor themselves, which I don't know why they would reach out to you, or they're very intimate with this industry. But I've never had one of my clients like, hey man, will you give me a CMA? It just doesn't happen. So this was red flag number one. And then when I looked up this address, he had the name correct. So he had this name right here, Daniel Davis. But this is another reason why this is a red flag, and I'll get to that in a second. So I said, thanks so much. Sorry, I've been on the phone a lot today. What's your email? Boom, he sends me an email, vacant.lot@yahoo.com. Sounds so stupid and so made up. Like, this should have been Dan Davis 13 or whatever. Like, that would have been more believable, right? So this is red flag number 2. I said, thanks. What is your full legal name? Most people write their first name first and then their last name, unless they are not from the U.S., then they read everything backwards, right? Like most countries read from right to left, or a lot do. And I'm noticing that a lot of scammers will write their name backwards. And so this is red flag number 3, right? Like, and now you can see red flag CMA, red flag stupid wonky email, red flag weird way to write your name. Like, a lot of red flags are going on just right here in the first few messages. So I'm like, boom, cool, thanks so much. What's your timeline for listing? Can I meet you in person at the property? I'm currently in transit to Vietnam. Womp womp. Likely story. I'm not in the States. Oh, okay. I'm like, oh, thanks. Do you have a person here in the States that can meet me at the property so I can gather the details? Right? Pressure them to find out. No, I don't have. What a weird way to say that, right? Will that be a problem? Question mark. Like, they just speak English in a weird way, right? Even if you know basic English, most of the time you'll write things in the traditional way to make it feel nice when you're writing to somebody. Obviously, I'm not saying like all the text messages I receive I'm judging all the time, but this was one of those positions where I'm like, red flag 3, red flag 4, like I'm tallying them up. So this was another red flag to me. Shouldn't be a problem. There is another person on title. Will I have, I'm typoed right there, so maybe I'm the bad one. Will I have them, I don't even know what I was writing, be able to sign the documents too? So maybe I was like stroking out, who knows. So then he's like, yes, that's my wife. Okay, sounds good. Sorry for all the questions. Can you send me some pictures of your IDs? We have had a ton of spam calls lately, and before I can move forward, I need to run a background check on you. Solid, right? Like, most people are probably going to be okay with some type of background check if they want your services. I mean, doing a background check on every client, that's not necessary, right? But I'm just like, I already kind of had all these red flags, so I really don't care if I ask some tough questions. So then we get right into it. Do you just request for ID before you do your job? I'm like, what in the heck? Like, why are you asking me? And then he says, I will probably need a copy of your ID as well to be sure you're a real estate agent. Oh, okay. Well, you reached out to me, bud. You know I'm a real estate agent, right? Red flag number 5. These two were after a day, and then in the morning he wrote these two. So then I was like, good morning to you. Awesome. I'll apologize about the hoops to jump through, but there are too many scammers for land deals right now, so you either provide the information that I'm looking for, or you can go somewhere else. Sorry to be direct, but I want to provide the best service to the public, and if you aren't really the owner of the property, then I have a duty to report that. Please let me know how you would like to proceed. 2 options. Provide me with the information I am requesting, or get reported. Thanks. Winky face. And then he says, you must be very stupid and dumb for saying that. Oh, great. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Just goes to show that I'm a professional and I take my job very seriously. Good luck out there. Have a great day, right? I'm sure this person's never going to respond back. And the other thing is a lot of people might not be willing to be as direct as me. There's nothing this person could do to do anything with our company at all. Because we have such great reviews, and you guys know that. Our company has done a great job getting reviews and making a name for itself. There's not one thing this guy could do and to come onto Google and write like, oh, they wouldn't list my property because they wanted to do a background check. People are going to be like, yeah, you're stupid. You know, right? Okay. Sorry, my voice is getting all crackly. Anyway, that is a video all about scams and land deals. The one thing I really want to make sure we touch on one more time, all owners must be on the listing agreement to list a piece of property, any property, right? If it is a trust, then you need to get the trust deed, or sorry, not trust deed, the trustee, whoever can sign for that trust needs to be on that document. Okay. Well, I think that's it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for staying around, and hopefully this gave you some information and some tips to deal with our current crappy land scammers that are out there trying to swindle people. All right, we'll see ya.